is my Hebrew brother from Harlem, Ty. He's an E1, B1A chromosome, straight Hebrew Israelite.
What's going on, people?
There you go. I'm gonna make this real quick. Take my behind home. We have so much that been in place to the fact that encyclopedias have lied, that we have to actually do the etymology on words, regions, and history to find out the truth. Everything has been hidden and has been a lie. All right, we're finding out that the Ashkenazi had been converted and came over 1400 years ago. They are not the real people. We're finding bones in Israel that have been traced to the E1B1 and the E1A1Bs out in America. We're finding out that in the Bible and the scriptures, we hear about none of the other tribes except for Judah. We're finding out that it's not a race of people that came from the Caucasus or the northern European region, that it's actually the ones that were put in the ships, brought into slavery with yokes of chain around their neck. These are the Semitic people. All right, we're finding out that there are Semitic and Shemitic people scattered all around or all abroad. With that being said, I want to give a shout out to DeMarcio out in Italy. That is my man. He's been hitting me up since early this morning, and he's dropped some grapes on me that had turned into wine. He has dropped some jewels from the chest at the bottom of the ocean and opened my eyes to some things. Now, the Ashkenazi are having a fit, so you might be happy for the Ashkenazi Jews that watch this. They're having a fit because they really don't want any black people into a thing that they converted from, that came from us. So with that being said, they had a fit because they found out the Lemba tribe was part of the Levi tribe. But I'm going to let you know something. The J chromosome that they think are Levi tribes, and that they think these Lemba people that fled from North Africa to South Africa, they used to be pagan worshippers and part of the Nimrod and all this other stuff. And part of these same J chromosomes that are African, that mysteriously turned white and ran up to the Caucasus Mountains, some of the E1, B1, B1s also mysteriously turned white and went to Russia. You find some of them, those purebloods, and some of the Russians. And just like you see the Ashkenazi, if you watch some of my videos, they have some of the Talmud and the Kabbalah belief, and then all of the stuff with the wrapping up the hand and the amulet around your head. Egyptians used to do that with Ra, all CNI. So they adopted it and just changed the name, like we see a lot of the other pagan religions in Christmas and all this stuff, that a lot of people adopted, but they changed the name and make it fun when it actually dates back all the way to Nimrod and the Egyptian and Roman paganism. Getting back to what I was saying, Lemba tribe is not anything to do with Israel or the Hebrew nation. You cannot be a J and be part of the E. The J did not come out of the E, and the J was made up with the definition of the Cohen and all this other stuff because of the Ashkenazi needing to fit in the history, like the Holocaust. They put it into the Bible when technically it had nothing to do with the Bible. That was to get a land for these group of people, that fooled the world. All this stuff was prophesied that this stuff was going to happen, the great mystery Babylon, the horror of Babylon, the secrets and all this other stuff to life. But what I didn't realize is that I thought with because I was being ignorant, that all blacks were a part of Israel and all this other stuff, when technically they're not. I knew that there were Hamites that weren't a part of Israel or the Hebrew people, but I actually thought they were E1, B1, B1s. I didn't know blacks could carry the J chromosome. Now, 4,800 years ago, we had a mysterious turning of blacks and the whites that fled the Caucasus Mountains. We had another conversion or Caucasians that popped on the scene 8,000 years ago that scientists are still baffled about, that carried the J chromosome. The Lemba tribe carried the J chromosome. You cannot be from Israel or be Hebrew with a J chromosome, or for the priestly Levi tribe with the J chromosome, if the J chromosome only has been around for 7,000 to 8,000 years.
But some of us are not educated to do the research, and I thank DeMarco, because I'm one of them, when he gave me this research and he showed me. So if you're carrying this gene, and like they think, oh my gosh, there's 800 million lemba over here in Africa, and they're part of the Levi tribe. They can't be. They're carrying the gene that's only been around for 8,000 years old. They were up in the park pagan worshiping, and they fled all the way down to the south. Remember, the Hebrews got warred and plummeted in Jerusalem and all that, and fled to West Africa, and then got put into ships, all right, into slavery with chains and yokes around their neck, and brought over to America against their will. That's the tribe of Judah.